Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie Esther here. And since the public test build is coming out tomorrow with the reveal of the Five Nights at Freddy's chapter, they also have some bug fix patch for today and some patch notes for what the 9.0 chapter is going to bring with the PTB. So the patch notes probably, I'm not going to read through it all here. I will provide a link to it. Probably the most important thing here is this change. Features the abandon option. Change the match outcome for the following scenario to count as a loss for the survivor. It was a draw. Survivor abandons the match while all remaining survivors are in the dying state. That was very strange. That was considered a draw. So there was a lot of discussion about those scenarios where survivors were never getting losses whenever they did any abandoning. So this one is a loss now. That's the most notable change. There's a bunch of other stuff here. Like if you want to read through it, I will provide the link to the forums here. The other one is the developer update here. Dig into the changes coming in the 9.0 PTB. Blood web spending improvements, going next prevention. Very curious to read that. The extreme hiding update and more. So yeah, okay, we'll get into it here. I know a lot of people are going to be happy about this bulk blood point spending because they've been saving up points just for this chapter. Okay, here we go. As written by that Ryan B, the May developer update. The 9.0 update will be here before we know it, so it's time to once again take a look at the notable gameplay changes you can expect from tomorrow's public test build. As with last time, stay tuned for the PTB patch notes where we'll share the precise values that are changing for each of the topics below. Read on for all the details. Okay, new features. Going next prevention. Major update. This is going to be very interesting. I'm going to be very curious to see how this system works when implemented. Added a system to identify whether a survivor's sacrifice is an intentional attempt at going next. If a player is identified as intentionally going next, they will receive a disconnection penalty point. Removed the option to self-unhook on the first hook stage. That's wow. Unless they have one of the following equipped. Slippery meat, up the ante, or a luck offering. Added the unlocks the ability to attempt to unhook yourself effect to luck offerings. Survivors are no longer instantly killed after 2 struggle skill checks pass without any input. Really? Wow, please note, disconnection penalty system is not active on the PTB, so certain facets of the going next penalization will not be available to test. We've made the above changes in order to tackle going next from 2 directions, penalizing repeat offenses and limiting exploitable self-unhooks. By restricting early match self-unhooks to specific perks and offerings, this still allows players to work it into their strategy while limiting cases where it's being used in bad faith. This is fascinating. I'm interested to see how this works. What is this disconnection penalty point going to mean? Like, what is this point system? Is it like that just counts as a DC and you have to wait out a DC time penalty? What does that mean, disconnection penalty point? This is also fascinating that you're no longer instantly killed after 2 struggle skill checks, because like if you're, say 2 survivors are dead and you're on the hook, you might just let go to give the last person a chance to get the hatch. But if this isn't gonna proc that quickly, that's fascinating. All right, extreme hiding. Oh, and while your friend on the hook can't let go to give you the hatch, we're also going to show where you are with extreme hiding. What is this? Extreme hiding update, a medium update. Updated AFK detection system. Reminder, if a player is considered AFK, crows will gradually begin spawning above the survivor, beginning with 1 and capping with 3. Once a survivor has 3 crows following them, they lose collision with other players. Oh, so this is part of that body blocking thing where if you can't move and you've collected 3 crows, you can move through people. With this updated system, we've adjusted how the game identifies players who have stopped contributing to a match. While the crow system largely functions as before, an additional effect at 3 crows prevents survivors from intentionally griefing teammates with body blocking. while also preventing the killer from holding survivors hostage. That's pretty cool. I like that. Next, we have the Blood Web spending improvements. Added an auto Blood Web button, which allows you to set how many levels you want to automatically progress through, blood points permitting. It's no secret that this is one of the most common community requests, so we're excited to put this in your hands. It's what it says on the tin, so check out this GIF. Even better, we've removed some recurring after you see them. We've removed some recurring pop-ups after you see them once to make your time in the Blood Web even more snappy. Okay, let's see this. Spend blood points. How many levels do you want? Oh, that's cool. You do a bunch of levels? 50 levels. Dang. So is that the max? 50 levels at a time? Oh, this is just repeating, right? Oh, I'm watching the same thing over and over again. Okay. That's going to be very welcome, especially for people like Taterhead who have like 130 million blood points or something to spend and they want to put them all into Springtrap upon release. That's going to be very useful. The Mori update, medium update, updated the Mori system so that it can now also be activated when 2 or more survivors are dead and the following occurs. The second to last survivor is hooked and on the struggle phase, and the final survivor is in one of the following states: healthy, injured, or dying. I beg your pardon? With this change, killers will be able to activate their Mori earlier, so long as the victory is assured, removing the need to wait for any hooked survivors to be sacrificed. This will let players on both sides get back into the action sooner. Okay, so if I'm struggling as the 2 survivors are dead, I'm on the hook struggling, and they find the last person, then boom, they can just Mori them. Gotcha. Why does that say healthy, though? Like, what if I could get hit and then... well, I guess the hatch wouldn't be out yet, right? But, why does that say healthy? I guess we'll have to see this. I have to see how this works. Final survivor is in one of the following states. I mean, I get it if you're dying on the ground, then you don't have to wait for the person on the hook to expire. Just let them Mori them right away. But I don't understand this healthy part. We'll have to see how that works. Map offering updates. Map offerings grant a flat percentage chance of being set to the associated realm. This chance is no longer a guarantee. Thank the Lord. I mean, while it is kind of a bummer for certain killers that you need certain maps to make certain builds work, I think like the guaranteed chance to be sent to a map of an offering has been too strong for far too long. Even with the sacrificial ward offering, like it wasn't enough. Map offerings no longer stack their effects. That's cool too. Map and gameplay affecting offerings are treated as a secret during the loading screen reveal. I think that's great too, so that you can't just dip if you know you're going to get a map that you don't like. I think that's very smart. By making map and gameplay affecting offerings secret on loading screens, our intention is to preserve the element of surprise, preventing the opposing role from starting the match with knowledge of your strategy. Love that. That has taken too long to implement. I've been banging the drum for that kind of stuff, making more offerings secret for a long time. Spawn rules updates. Ooh, what is this one? Adjusted the following spawn rules. Survivors spawn as close together as possible. Oh gosh. Survivors spawn on the same floor where applicable. The killer will not spawn at the center of small maps. Change the name of the Shroud of Separation to the Shroud of Vanishing, and change its effect to nullify offerings that change survivor spawn locations. Change the name of the Shroud of Binding to the Shroud of Separation, and change its effect to spawn survivors apart from one another. Interesting. With these changes to spawn rules, players will find their locations to be more consistent when not affected by offerings. We also know that certain Shroud offerings have historically worked counter to what each role might want, so we've adjusted them to better line up with these expectations. So I have a couple concerns with this. I understand that they want to get early pressure on survivors by grouping everyone together and the killer can go straight to them. My concerns are this is an even further nerf for distortion, because if I'm running distortion to hide my aura, but all of us are grouped together and the killer is running lethal pursuer, my distortion is basically of no value, because the killer is still going to come into that area where all of us are, because they've seen all of us except for me with my distortion, but they could just stumble upon me since we're all grouped together in the same location. So I think this is going to require survivors to spread out early. Going to be, this is a buff for lethal, if you ask me. The killer can come straight to them. And then those killers that have that high mobility, it's like the rich get richer, because they can just zoom in on the group of survivors and start putting pressure on the survivors right away. Instead of, if you're spread out, even if you have lethal, you'll have to choose your target, and the survivors might get a gen here or a gen there. But if everybody's grouped up and everybody is running around like chickens with their head cut off because the killer is suddenly where you are with their high mobility, I don't know. I feel like, killers who need setup are probably not affected by this because they're not coming into the whole group. But the killers that have immediate mobility and pressure just seem to benefit from this. So I don't know how to feel about everybody spawning grouped together. I think it helps the higher end killers more. We'll see what happens. So I don't know about that. Gamma setting adjustment. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm so happy about this. Added a video category to the graphics setting menu. We've added a brightness setting to the video category to adjust the gamma. Developer note. Dead by Daylight is a game that relies heavily on the play between light and dark, which can be difficult to strike a balance between when playing on console, given the more limited options available. To help alleviate this, we've added a setting for adjusting gamma, which gives players more control over how light and dark elements are displayed. Another thing we should have had for a long time. But don't get me wrong, I'm loving that the devs are making a lot of these sweeping changes to make the game better, but it's taken a long time to get something like this. The gamma slider. All right, cool. Oh, what is that? Lowest setting, highest setting. Who wants this? Who wants this lowest setting? The most immersive possible. Wow, that is crazy. Oh my. All right. Custom match improvements. Increase spectator slots in custom games to 5. This is great for like tournament organizers to be checking stuff out. Added hotkey inputs to custom game spectating to quickly switch to view a specific character and cycle through the characters one by one. Added controller support for the above elements. Not only is custom match a way to easily play with friends, but it's also a valuable tool for coordinating tournament play. To help streamline its use in these environments, we've added hotkey support to various methods of view switching to make casting on the fly even easier. Plus, with increased spectator slots, tournament organizers have the option to give viewers the visibility of all players in a match at once. That's great. I mean, there's really no added benefit for behavior to put this in. This is a love letter to the comp teams, right? Even better, we have more improvements coming to custom match in future updates. Stay tuned for more on this. Ooh, killer updates for the artist. Adjusted several add-ons. Overall, the artist is in a solid place balance-wise and boasts useful add-ons that meaningfully change how her kit works. To encourage even more pick variety among these, we've adjusted her top and bottom performing add-ons to bring their usefulness more in line with her other options. Stay tuned for patch notes for specific details on these changes. The Lich, all of the Lich's spells are available at the start of the trial. Reduce the cooldown of all spells. The Dispelling Sphere's projectile moves quickly when first cast and slows down over time. Increase the Killer Instinct duration once survivors exit the Dispelling Sphere. Increase the attack cooldown period after fly ends. Increase the duration and movement speed of fly. Wow. Adjusted the mage hand hold time to make it consistent for both killers and survivors, resolving a known bug. and increase the effects of magic items when casting the associated spells. Huh. Adjusted several add-ons. So the magic item's going to have use now? Magic items being valuable. What a concept. For the Lich, much of his power focuses on providing utility over reliability, injuring survivors. We've adjusted his 4 spells to increase the frequency with which they can be used to ensure there's more spell slinging, while quality of life adjustments help make these spells feel smoother to use. On the survivor side of things, we wanted to ensure magic items feel like more viable options for countering each spell, so we've buffed them slightly. Curious to see what the magic items are like. Perk updates, killer updates, updated Call of Brine, Dark Devotion, Hex Retribution, Machine Learning, Superior Anatomy, Terminus, Thrilling Tremors, and Thwack. Wow. We've adjusted the values on the above perks, which boasted lower pick and kill rates, to introduce small buffs to increase their viability. Stay tuned to the patch notes for the specific details. Oh, Call of Brine used to be like a staple, and that just kind of hit the trash heap there when that got nerfed. Curious to see what it is now. Survivor perks updated: Botany Knowledge, Champion of Light, Counterforce, Desperate Measures, Empathic Connection, Exaltation, and Light-Footed. Similar to the above, we've updated values on some perks with lower performance, introducing small buffs. We'll share the exact values in the coming patch notes. Until next time, the Dead by Daylight team. All right, so I guess tomorrow, or they'll probably put out the patch notes before the PTP goes live, and we can see what the buffs are on these perks. How many is it? It's about 14 perks, something like that. A little bit more. 15 perks. An impressive update all in all. What are you looking forward to the most out of this? What concerns do you have the most out of this? Don't get me wrong. I will be sad that there were some builds that I would use on different killers that I specifically wanted to have a certain map. And I'm going to be sad that that isn't guaranteed anymore. But I think it's healthier for game balance, you know? All right, what do you think about all this? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I appreciate the time that you spend here with me on my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as it helps the channel a ton. And don't forget to take care of each other in and out of the fog. And we'll see you tomorrow for the public test build and that 5 Nights at Freddy's chapter reveal. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
It's a Gen Rush life for us. It's a Gen Rush life for us. Set a hiding, we do gens. Set a randoms, we got friends. It's a Gen Rush life.